Hi guys, my name is Daniel Alexander Cannon, and this is,
Soul 7, also known as Shannon.
and we're bringing you another episode of the Supernatural Show today. And we've got a pretty good little show put together here for you today. I think you're going to be not only entertained but educated with some of the things we're going to do today. Let me see if I can kind of give you an overview of what we're going to do. Okay. First, I'm going to tell a little story about one time I went to visit uh, a fan. I went to stay at a fan's house for a few days. And I'll tell you the story there. And there's a supernatural element to it as well. Then we're going to take a look at a documentary that actually I did. I put together a few years ago, but it was banned off of YouTube. And hopefully it don't get this banned. But it's nothing that's really questionable on there. It's just a documentary about the lights that people see in the heavens. That a lot of people wonder if they're UFOs or if they wonder if there's something else or what it is. This documentary will show you what they are, or at least clear it up substantially for you, because we're going to take a look at, let's say, 50 different examples of what these orbs or balls of light in the heavens that some people see or a lot of people see. We're going to take a look and see what they've been seen doing. And a lot of it is extremely supernatural in itself, even if you get past the fact that you're talking about an orb of light floating around and stopping in the sky and moving over here and appearing more of them and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to look at that documentary, and then I have a couple of clips also that are supernatural in nature that we probably will take a look at. And then we're going to open up the call-in lines once again towards the end of the show. Okay, and we're feeling this all out and trying to determine the the best layout, the best format for all this stuff. And so me and Shannon are working hard on it. And so that's kind of what we're going to do today. I hope you're going to hang around. Hope you've got time, and I hope that we bring something valuable to you, and that this is not just entertainment, because it's not intended to be. It's intended to be in an entertaining format, but the content is intended to be educational. So, with that being said, I guess see what Shannon's up to here, and then I'll go into my story. Shannon, what you up to?
Nothing, just hanging out with you guys, ready to hear all kinds of lovely stories. And I'm excited to receive this footage because I do remember some of this stuff from previous on your other channel. And yeah, um, that's pretty much it. Just been hanging out with family. How have you been?
Good, good as well. Just really working as much as I possibly can to try to build an entertaining platform that is educational, truly educational, in real truth. Not the kind of truth that the History Channel on YouTube likes to tell you, because they're full of baloney. But yeah,
I've been doing some research on some fun upcoming things that I look forward to share with you guys. Blah, blah, blah. I can talk.
got a tongue tied. Yeah,
You know what happens sometimes.
it
Yeah, I
does.
got a lot of stuff going on in my brain all at the same time, so sometimes it doesn't come out all.
Yeah, you're in the perfect spot for that because you're gonna feel comfortable around me. So,
Well,
guys, let me tell you a little story. And there's a reason I'm actually telling this, and I'll kind of maybe hint at it. Let's say you got a comment that came in your comments, and they said, "Hey, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to give you that. I'm willing to do all these things," and they post it in the comments. And let's say I said, "Okay," and I started communicating with them, and there come a time for a couple of reasons as to why I thought it might be a good idea to go visit a few people. Okay. So there was a time when somebody did make a comment about me going somewheres, and I chose to go visit them, and this is what happened. So I was in Belize, Central America, and I was getting ready to leave there, and I was with a friend, and we were traveling, and we jumped from Belize up to St. Louis, Missouri. Remember the movie Misery?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we we flew into town, and they were going to pick us up at the airport. The first, well, she had said that we could stay. She has an entire two-bedroom. Yeah, I better give some context here. She had an entire two-bedroom, lower level that she doesn't even use, and it's got a full kitchen and a full bathroom and its own heating and cooling and everything. So it'd be different, separate from the house, and we could do whatever we wanted, stay as long as we wanted, kind of thing. Amazing offer. It's a two-level home. It's a ranch. She said she has a ranch. She has horses, chickens, and other things, and sounds like wonderful, like paradise. Well, flew into town, get to the airport, and she's unable to come and get us from the airport, which she had said, "Oh, no problem," and which is no big deal. We could get a rental car, uh, but we didn't know we needed one, so we were having a little bit of communication problems with her, and but ended up renting a car and said, "Okay, things break down." So we went out and started driving and finding our way to this location, which was out in the middle of, it was southwest of St. Louis City, and it was in the middle of BFE, if you know what that is.
Mm.
And we show up at the house. We um, pull in, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, well, this ain't what I was expecting exactly, because it was quite old and rickety, and then things weren't very well taken care of. But she said her husband was in bed sick, and he hadn't been doing very well. And I thought, well, that kind of explains maybe why things are in bad shape, and that kind of thing. So we went ahead, and she greeted us, and we went on in. And immediately upon going in the house, the first obvious thing that I noticed was that her entire living room was had bird cages in it. There were about 60 birds in the living room in cages. But for those of you who feel bad for the birds being in the cages, I can understand. But there was one bird that was loose, and he was able to go all over the house wherever he wanted to go. It was a pigeon, and the pigeon went wherever he wanted to go. If you know what I'm saying, all over everything. And they weren't very good at cleaning it up at all. And we had gotten a rental car and had already dropped it off, because they had a friend of theirs met us down the street, and we dropped off the rental car. And anyway, showed up there. We didn't have any transportation. We couldn't just go get back in the car and leave. We were there. And like, okay, these are just country folk. That's all it is. These are just country folk. So, look around the house and walk into their office. And when we were in the little office they had, I couldn't help but notice the amount of pornography that was evidence of everywhere. Okay, well, maybe they've just got a little problem and with that, and maybe it's still okay. Maybe, because I'm trying to make the best out of, make lemonade out of lemons here. And so And there's a supernatural aspect of this coming, but a couple of them actually maybe here. But so they said, well, let's take you downstairs. And I said, is there an upstairs? They said, yeah, but you can't go up there. It's haunted. I said, you can't even go up there because it's haunted? She said, well, you can go, but it's haunted. I said, okay, upstairs is haunted. I go down the dungeon, the basement. They took me down there. And we went downstairs, walked in, and she's like, over here is the bed, and over here, this is the heater, and all this, like it's normal. And it is normal to her. But I said, okay, well, we'll get situated and everything, and we'll be back upstairs in a few minutes. So then me and my friend at that time, we were like looking at each other like, because there was one little window downstairs where you could see out, but you weren't getting out through it. But it was one little window, and there was no glass in it. It was just open, and whatever wanted to come in and out could. No big deal. Then there was a bedroom, but they didn't mention that the bedroom had a heating system all tore apart all over the floor in it, and it was just absolute disaster in there. We said, well, we got a kitchen. Let's go in the kitchen. Went in the kitchen, and it didn't look good, but, maybe it just needs cleaning. I opened up the refrigerator, and it had a lot of stuff in it. And I shut the door. I reached and grabbed the freezer and opened it. To this day, I can't identify the kind of meat that was in that freezer. And it was raw, and the refrigerator had been off, and it was rotten. And I just slammed the door back. And I looked at my friend, and we're like, oh my God, what have we got ourselves into? That was the moment when we knew they were crazy. Out of their minds crazy. We immediately started trying to figure out, okay, we got to get out of here,
Yeah.
But our plans were all lined up to be there like 2 weeks. And so the kitchen was a disaster. Nothing worked. There was no hot water. There was a little bit of cold water. Who knows where it was coming from. And everything was just filthy. Oh, the bed. Let me tell you about the bed. Have you ever seen a mattress that's so old that all of the material has rotted off of it? Yeah. And all that is left is little sprigs of fabric and springs. Oh, dear. That was the mattress I was expected to sleep on. And I went, we're like, oh God. Like, went upstairs, talked to her, said, do you happen to have another mattress by chance? Oh, I think there's one in the garage. So we went out. We did find one that was a little bit better in the garage, and we wrapped it every way we could and laid it on top of the other one. And went to bed for that first night because it was late. We went to bed. And we were laying, just one bed, me and my friend, we were laying there. And I'm looking, just kind of not even really paying attention because it's dark and everything. And all of a sudden I see this woman, or what looks like a woman, in a long nightgown, like a nightgown, like a muumuu or something like that older ladies will wear, like a long t-shirt or something like that. Or something kind of like that. And here it comes walking right by the end of the bed. And I didn't move. I didn't say nothing. I seen it. And it went right by her bed and went into that other bedroom that was over there. And I looked at my friend and I said, did you see that? And she said, oh yeah, I seen that. We got to get the HOLL out of here. It was haunted downstairs too. I mean, the first night, uh, you could see through her. It was like an apparition, like an energy field, but you could clearly see it was a woman with a dress, like a long shirt or dress on, and just walks right by the end of the bed and goes into that bedroom. Doesn't even look at me. That was interesting. I'm not really particularly scared of ghosts because I realize that they don't have the ability to hurt me. But along with everything else, and now there's a ghost walk by the end of my foot of my bed, and I see it with my own two eyes. I mean, come on. So next morning comes, we go out and we decide, well, let's try to make the best we can of it and be polite and be nice. And so we go outside and we're going to help with something. We figure, let's go help with the horses, you know. And we went out there, and there were actually the horses were beautiful animals, and they were fed pretty good. It looked like, and everything. They were seemed to be pretty healthy. But other than that, I don't know what in the world kind of ranch this woman had. It was just complete a complete mess, you know, and everything was just in disrepair. And at this point, we hadn't met the husband. There was a little bit later that morning, the husband got out of bed. He'd been in bed since we got there. He got out of bed and he comes stumbling out of the house, and he looked like a zombie. I mean, he was near death, it looked like. And come to find out why he was sick is because he had run out of his chiclet, his pills. He was pill sick, is what kind of sick he was. And he was bad pill sick. You know, I know terrible things go on in people's lives, and I ain't judging nobody for nothing, okay? I'm not the judge. But I'm just explaining a story from my perception. And apparently he'd gotten him some, and he was starting to come around and feeling better and stuff. But when it got really freaky for me, is one of the first things he did was start working on these locks on the doors of the house. That were you could it didn't lock from the inside. The locks that were being put on it locked from the outside. Why would you put locks on the front door and the back door of the house, and also installing one on the lock on the stairwell going downstairs, so I could come up the stairs? But there's a big, thick, old wood door, real thick, and they were putting a lock on the outside of it. I didn't want to ask why they were doing that. I just knew we had to get the HELL out of there because I was getting the movie Misery was coming to mind. And here I am in Missouri. And there's some more things I could tell about this story, but it's about inappropriate to even talk about. But let's just say we got out of there immediately. You know, we did everything we had to do to leave immediately, made every excuse. Oh, we're just going to the store to get some stuff from the store. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Nope. Yeah, we took off and left. And what's even amazing is the next place we went to, the person was crazy too. Yep. The second stop on traveling to meet some of my viewers, the second stop, they weren't as crazy as the first one, but they were like paranoid, schizophrenic, kind of multi-personality, be most nice person you could deal with one minute, and the next minute you're like, who is this? It just, yeah, didn't go good. But the paranormal aspect was probably mainly the hauntedness. But the moral of the story is you have to be really careful about taking gifts and offers from people, especially if it puts you in that place in danger or anything like that, because we were in danger. And luckily, we got out of there in time before they finished the locks on all the house and everything. Not good. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, so I wanted to share that with y'all guys. How'd you? How would you have liked to have been my friend there with me, there, Shannon, and them putting locks on the house?
Well, I've had many of interesting experiences with. I've had some stalkers in my time, and there was some major red flags popping up in that. And I would definitely, if I were your friend though with you, I would have the first night wouldn't. I would be like, no, we're getting out, because that was, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
all of
Lesson number one is don't relinquish your method of leaving until you know you're safe.
the
And that
moral
was a
of the
mistake we made.
right. And a lot of this too, like in any instance, if there's any time where you're meeting anybody in person, and this goes for the other end of the spectrum too, even the fans, or if we ever did some kind of meeting, it should be in some kind of public
Mm-hmm.
space.
You're very, very, very public,
Very, very, very public, and making
because
it
you don't know who you're inviting. Because
one.
Mhm.
You don't want to just take an offer for what, because you just never know. And there are
Right.
wonderful people out there, and there's
Mm-hmm.
scary people out there who
Mm-hmm.
are
Within any community of group, any large group of people, you're going to find perfect, beautiful souls and people that have got motives.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that the be who, and then you have a haunted experience on top of
Mm-hmm.
the whole stalker
Oh,
situation. It's just
and I
scary.
did go in the attic, and it was haunted. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, the
no,
whole house was full of spirits. I feel it. It was
no.
not good spirits. The old lady was fine, but there were spirits there that were dark. Yeah. And they were doing other kinds of drugs, and I don't even know for sure all the stuff they were doing. It was just a bad, bad experience. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't go running off taking up offers off the internet out of the comments of YouTube videos. Don't mean it's a bad offer. It means you have a lot of investigation to do before you could ever do that, because I made the mistake of thinking, oh, all my subscribers are nice, sane people. Oops, two mistakes in one trip. You know, I had to leave the second location. Supposed to could have been there a month. She had an extra house that was empty, beautiful house, brick, right near the river. She stayed down the street in a big old house. She got all this given to her. I said, come on, stay in this one. There's nobody there, no problem. I went out back, built a fire pit and everything in the ground floor out of bricks. Thought that was great. She come next day and said, no, I don't like that. You got to tear it up. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. All
Yeah.
right, you ready for y'all guys ready to see the documentary I did?
Ready.
Anybody ready? Let's see. Let's look at the comments real quick. Yeah, I would have rudely left in the first 5 minutes. I didn't have no way to leave. I had to make arrangements. It was bad. It left quick as I could, and then they went on the internet in comments and stuff and was saying anything they could think of, because I had left saying I'm just going to the store. I'm coming back. I split. You know. And then I was the bad guy. They're on there in the top keyboard, like saying all kinds of bad things about me. I just ignore it, because if you don't read the negative energy, you can't. You don't allow it into your mind or into your reality. So you just learn just to don't participate in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't participate at all. All right. So I promise you guys a documentary. Maybe a few of you have seen this, but there's a lot of people that will end up seeing this video that have not seen it. And it's the whole documentary is truly of supernatural nature. I'm going to start it at about 10% into it, just to skip over a little bit of stuff. And what it's going to do is it's going to start showing you instances of these balls of light that people are seeing all over the world and filming and putting them on different shows on the internet. most of which have no clue what they are. But I've explained what they are. But I'm gonna let you see it without me projecting my explaining up front. I'm gonna let you see it, and then we'll come back. And also, Shannon, as we're playing through, if we feel free, we want to stop and talk about something that is being shown. We can do that, and we can back it up just a little bit. And we've got, we are the host and co-host, so right.
You got it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me bring it in here, and I've just kind of picked a little random spot to start at, but we'll let her rip from here a little bit. Matter of fact, I think I'll put us full screen, so we won't be you won't be able to see us for just a few minutes, but we'll come back in. And let's see. All right. And you're going to hear my voice because, again, this is my documentary. And I'm just going to let it play.
That's the farmers. You think it's the farmers? Yeah, probably ain't.
Farmers what?
It's not on the farmer's field. Look, it's going red now.
Red. Oh, it's turning in fire.
It's good though, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you videoing it?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Ah, good. All bed now.
Oh, it's gone. No, it's still going.
I'll go tell my dad why you look at that.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Dad! It's gone. No, Sarah.
Leaves spark streaks sometimes.
Those are aliens coming down here, y'all. Look at it's coming down the same direction. Oh, it's breaking up. Oh, it's 6, it's 8, it's 9. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Look at that. Oh, look at that. They stop. Look at that shit. Those are aliens. I'm trying to record. Aliens.
It gets weirder.
Y'all need to be shooting that. Y'all need to be shooting this shit right here. They looking at us. They dividing. Now. We're getting invaded.
Appear as single or multiples, independent behavior or joint behavior.
Are those fireworks? What is that?
Look like some fireworks or something.
Aliens? I don't know.
What the heck
Where
is
is that? You see it, right?
I'm actually, yes,
Okay.
I do see it.
Okay.
It's getting weirder by the second.
I know.
It's like they're sticking around.
We're gonna do some
Anybody?
digging and figure out what that is. Back in a moment.
Are we rolling on that?
What do you think that was?
Again, controlled path intelligence leaves spark streaks sometimes, independent behavior or joint behavior, appear as single or in multiples or large numbers. This was recorded on an infrared camera. Many different styles of these orbs being seen and noticed around the world. Now let's see if y'all guys, can you hear me, Shannon?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so they can hear me then. So this is kind of a different type of, you would say it's a different type of orb, but later on in this video, these little ones, you're going to see one of these come out of a mouse. It will literally manifest out of a mouse that's dying, that gets caught in a trap, and it's being filmed with an infrared camera, and you see the orb come up out of the mouse and float off. And there's a man in this video that his son filmed his father dying. I think it's in this video where when the father died, a little white orb come up out of him and floated off, and then there were a couple of flashes in the room, and a lot of really cool footage here. So, well, unless you got something to say, we'll keep going, Shannon.
Let's
Okay.
go.
All right. Notice the cat, that he notices the orbs. He starts looking around at them. And don't forget, Shannon, you can blow up your window in the lower right-hand side to be able to see the actual video better.
Okay.
There are many videos like this of animals reacting to these orbs. You see, the cat can see them. Exist in many sizes and energetic intensities, visible in infrared and eye visible light spectrum. Now, real quick, I'm sure you noticed that the cat's eyes reflected green light. Let me ask you a question. That was an infrared camera also that was filming, so what does it say about the cat's eyes if our military developed scopes that when you look through them for night vision or infrared, they have these colors in them, like green and red. It's showing you a truth there by the reflection of the cat's eyes, even as to why he's able to see these things where the naked eye could not. And they're likely floating around most of us right now.
Wilder! Mira! Wow. Holy shit. Holy. Wow. Oh. See? Oh. Wilder! Mira!
Just to note that, in the recent volcano explosions, what was it, La Palma? There was a lot of interesting things that were visually seen, coming out of and near that volcano. And I do feel that these volcanoes are like a hotbed of spiritual activity. And this is just kind of another example of that to me. I just wanted to
The La Palma had there was a point when it was erupting, it had rings above it.
Right.
What those rings are is associated with the magnetic field that the volcano is producing. And one of the things it's producing, I believe, is a torus field, a type of torus field, and which would create those rings for one thing. And anytime you've got a torus field, you have the potential for what's called a point of creation, which a volcano is not the best example to use to try to explain that where people can understand. But those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. But yeah, anyways, we'll get too complicated. So let's keep going. We'll get off on that.
Holy shit. Holy.
Un poco Catepetl captó esta imagen, vean, estaba impresionante. Fíjense con mucha atención, se trata de un objeto no identificado que aparece, ahí está apareciendo en la pantalla del lado superior derecho.
Just so you know, the way I did this footage in this documentary is it gets more and more intense as we go. So I didn't put the best stuff up front. Although this is very interesting, most people have seen this. Now let's keep going. Because what you have here, you're looking at an orb, a ball of light that's flying around in the skies, and in this case, it happens to be near a...
From this point on, you'll probably start to notice a pattern of different places that these entities, or whatever they are, choose to show up at. Notice the different places that I'm able to show you. The film exists from around the world in all kind of different locations, but not only locations, but events.
Yeah, the events thing is really going to come into play. But you have to legitimately ask yourself, why volcanoes? That has to be part of the formula as to understand these things.
So what is it about these volcanoes that draw these entities, these lights in the sky, these orbs to these locations around the world? Would it have something to do with the amount of energy that is being released?
The energy in the plasma, because they use it, I think, like some kind of a charging mechanism. You say charging?
Esa weá no es una estrella y no tiene por qué estar ahí, ¿ves? Hacen un zoom a esa weá.
Andrés, no te estoy huellando.
Mira un ovni, cacha, al lado. La weá no...
And of course, there's no way to know if every one of these things are the same things or similar things. There is possibility on some of these clips, but some of these clips, as you'll see, there's clearly just round all about balls of light. And like I've stated before, I've seen these appear in front of me, 50 foot out in front of me, right over the edge of the beach, over the water, and go to disappear, and a bolt of lightning come out of it and strike the ocean. So it's not surprising that there's in that scene just now, there was a volcano erupting and lightning flying around from the energy being produced. And here they are present where there's something like that going on. So let's see what else they're doing.
Notice and realize that this is plasma, pure light, the same as fire, the same as the sun, the same as all types of energy. It's plasma.
This is
being emitted from the ground next to a volcano. Notice all.
Apparently, I think the same even now compared to years ago.
You keep interrupting yourself. It's pretty great.
It's kind of weird.
Of the activity that's going on that I've outlined with the little arrows.
You can see that one rising up in the back above the volcano too, unless that's a star, because it's kind of consistently moving. But there's definitely things going on. Looks pretty daylight there to me. Oh, it's more appearing out of nowhere in the middle of the day. Does the volcano allow...
Parental discretion is advised with some of the language of the excited individuals in some of the following clips.
I don't have a little audience problem.
To get them up and get them moving. Wait, what's cold? Yeah, now's the time you've got to move. And you've got to move your body.
No, it just disappeared.
We're here with you.
They're disappearing.
They're here. They're here.
They heard us up on the mountain.
Gotta get you moving,
They
honey.
did.
All right, come on, okay, baby? Yeah, let's get you moving.
Then they disappeared.
I just wanted to take note that a lot of these types of things I see, they do these patterns, these shapes, a lot of triangle shapes, if there's more than one, or things along those lines. And I just kind of wanted to put it out there when it comes down to this supernatural, and when we're talking on the opposite end, say you're talking about fallen beings. Again, I heard that issue. Their symbolism plays such a huge part in the way their world works. And I just wanted to point out there that a lot of the times you see these things, even in the crop circles and stuff like that, these patterns and symbols that you see aren't always.
A lot of times there's sacred geometry symbolism, and it makes sense that they would be doing it. And of course, the so-called elites in this world are also using some of the same powers and symbolism and stuff. They're using it,
right, because it creates more power in a sense. Anyways, I thought I'd point that out because I noticed that was it's a very common pattern that these orbs and lights show up in.
And I would also say that people need to keep in mind that just because the elites, whatever we want to call them, okay, that's really not a good fair word. It's almost putting them up on a pedestal. They're the corrupt ones that run the world the way it is. And what I was going to say is that if they happen to like a color, or if they happen to like a shape or certain shapes or a certain set of numbers, or it doesn't make those things necessarily evil. I used to think more like that the pyramid's evil and this is evil and that's evil, and it all belongs to the creator. What these guys are doing is they are doing what Satan does, which is to emulate and pretend to be the God, the one and only God. And they typically will do everything in reverse and upside down and backwards. But they are emulating, and they're choosing to adopt these things, but it doesn't belong to them. Like when I set up this show, I was a little worried about the orange color that I'm kind of using in some things, because people would say, orange is 33, is 33. He's one of them. No, orange is a color. And it looked good, and I liked it, and I chose it. We need to really honestly take back what they have stolen from our Father and be able to use it in positive ways. And I'm not saying use their magic. I'm saying not be afraid and understand that these things also are just natural things, and they're not evil just because it's in the shape of a pyramid necessarily.
No, well, and even in the book of, Enoch, if you want to go back into those things, the angels, the fallen, shared a lot of this stuff with us, even though they weren't technically supposed to, and it was heavenly magic. It's heavenly stuff, supernatural from God. But as you said, they used it for nefarious purposes.
Right.
So,
the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Intention is always a big part of that, but it's just interesting to point out for sure that these symbols are used a lot in that type of these type of situations.
Right.
Это шаровая молния, я просто первый раз в жизни вижу. В сторону сейчас уйдет, зараза. Я потерял его, но... Что, она разрядится? Нет, куда-нибудь?
Oh my god, look at it rolling. Holy shit. Fuck. What the fuck is going on?
Sorry.
That would be my reaction.
Oh my god. What in the fudge? God. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I have personally witnessed this type of activity myself. Actually, all of the activity that you've seen so far, I've personally witnessed the behaviors myself. I have seen orbs somewhere between 50 and 100 different occasions, literally seeing hundreds of these orbs.
Do you think that there's any coincidence that that Starlink looks very similar to these? These videos are before they even started launching Starlink. So these are not Starlink. It's that they line up in lines like this and they will appear and count off. And I've seen this many times. But they call it Starlink. And I know what they're referring to. And there may be some explanation. Starlink, and he's emulating the stars like that, the angels, we'll call it, or the orbs. Why is he emulating those lines? And what what can be learned from that? I think there's something there that I haven't thought about before, but maybe we'll come back to that. Let's keep going.
Okay, in the following clip here, you're going to see something specific that these things do as they multiply in a line, as you see them doing here. We're going to get a little cleaner clip coming up here in a second, and you're going to be able to see as they multiply, when one goes to appear, a spark will happen right before it appears. So one will appear and then a spark out in front of it. See the spark? Here comes another spark, and then another spark, and then another one, and there it is, another one, and there it is. You see? They grow and multiply by a spark being emitted first. You can see these sparks or flickers or static in the sky when they're present, even when there are no orbs to be seen.
They'll be there in the sky like that. You can see the sparks bouncing around in the sky.
And here's another clip of the same phenomenon. Spark, then orb. Spark, then orb. Pulse, aka sparkle, ahead of illumination. In this next clip, you're going to be able to see something rather fantastic. First, you're going to see the spark and illumination of another orb.
We showed this, did we show this in our last episode, Shannon?
I don't believe so.
We didn't. I know I cut it out and made it an individual little video that I released another way, but okay. One thing I wanted to say was about the sparks is that keep in mind, if you're out at night and you're looking to observe these orbs, these what I call angel orbs, remember that if you can't see them, but if they're there, they'll be sparking. You'll see sparks that just quick little flashes around, that either above the mountaintops or over the water is more commonly where you'll see this kind of activity. At least for me it is. But if you're looking and you don't see them, look for the sparks, because if you're seeing the sparks, they're there.
There it is. And you're also going to see interaction with human beings. There are actually two people standing right below the orb on the right. The orb is about 20 feet across widthwise, and they are standing right below it within 10 feet and looking up.
I had a revelation. Let's stop this. I had a revelation. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had a revelation, understanding about this. You know how they on their symbolism on their crests, their family crests, and all. You know how they like to have double-headed eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I had a vision yesterday that showed me what that means. What we're failing to do is to realize that they operate, in their symbolism, they're always operating in 3 dimensions. Yet you're looking at an image that's 2-dimensional, a double-headed eagle. What you're seeing, the double-headed, and this isn't the whole meaning of it, but one of the meanings is that eagle, with looking one way and looking the other, what it is he's 3-dimensional. He's spinning. Just like what we're seeing here. What you're seeing that looks like wings is the torus field around the torus field around them that is glowing, and it's spinning. And the double-headed eagle, the phoenix, as they like to call it, it represents a deity spinning in 3-dimensional space, which is why his wings are spread all the way out and his head is looking both ways. It's because he's 3-dimensional, and we're mistaking it, not realizing that because we're looking at a 2-dimensional image. Maybe that makes sense. Hopefully it does.
So at some point you have to start asking yourself, what does this? What is interacting with the humans like this and is so bright in the sky and yet causes no harm?
Sorry about the audio fade outs, but when I recorded this documentary, I made that mistake.
Did you notice how it keeps going into a cube formation, and then
I did notice that, and I think it's relevant. I just haven't seen any more footage that supports that over and over. But yeah, I did notice that it could have been the camera, but I did see the cube, and there's a lot of places we could go in that discussion when it comes to the cube. Because the cube, and it may be relevant. We may be talking on the edge of something that we need to understand better, and that's what we're trying to do here, is understand.
Right.
We want to, they say understand, but really it's stand over. We want to stand over and have knowledge of what we're talking about better. And so, yeah, maybe we need to think about that, pray on it, and realize that maybe there's something there to be that's important. Because these things, the energy that's flowing around them is moving so fast that our frame rate in our eye, which is 24 frames per second, cannot slow it down enough to us to be able to see what's there. All we see is the light, like how the Bible talks about how things are so bright in heaven and everything, where you can't see what's there. You can't see his face, you know. And I suspect it's probably very similar to this in a way. We'll study that. I'd like to find some more footage that gives me that cube again. If I did, it would maybe push me down a little bit of a road there.
Well, the New Jerusalem technically is in the Bible a big giant cube. Just throwing that out there. I'll start the video again.
All right.
As we continue through all of this, we will put together and see exactly what all is happening here, what all we're seeing, all the characteristics and traits of these, or of this phenomenon. Appear to pose humans no threat other than the fear of the unknown.
Pai, nós não estamos vendo nada aqui, mas eu quero que mostre aqui, pai.
That's incredible footage, ain't it? Whatever it is, that's incredible footage.
So what is it that can soar with airliners at 500 miles an hour and fly down the streets in between cars without harming anyone? And what is it that shows up at tsunamis, as you can see it flying across the screen in the center, upper right now? Here are multiples of them at the water's edge as people are drowning. They are flying around amidst numerous of them going into the waters and coming out. What is it that does this? Watch closely. You have to realize in this situation, many people are dying. Are these things there saving people from dying? Are they there collecting the souls, meeting the souls of the dead? Multiple show up at disasters, not just volcanoes. Jerusalem, Israel, or plasma burst.
Okay, we're going to watch that, but I'm going to tell you that I've seen this happen. I've witnessed this myself. I've witnessed them come in like similar to this, right in front of me, 100 foot maybe out in front of me, and then shoot straight into the sky and pulse when they do it. And I've even seen them pulse a number of times where it literally, you'll see that it lights the ground up. That is what I've witnessed. They'll come to me and show me that. They'll do it right above my head. I've seen one do it right above my head like 3 times. I'm not talking about a couple of feet. I'm talking about a ways up in the sky above me, and I'll happen to see it up there, and then it'll pulse and light up the entire ground and shoot straight into the sky above me. I've witnessed this one right here. Okay, let's keep going. I would say I'm already starting to see where they get these, they talk about the Star of David and the different shapes of stars and all of that, because you can see that in some of this footage. and there's inside those stars there is a cube in the center. We're gonna dig into that more. We can't really do it all right here today because that's something kind of a little bit new information. But yeah, I'm already I think I can see it in my head as to because the cube sets in the middle of the whole rotation, just like a hurricane.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see more cube, shapes right now. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
So you with me? Okay.
Yep.
The controllers of this world that have the knowledge for many times over and over, they know what these things are. They know that in fact they are deities. Now I know when I say use words like that, if I use the word angel, I got to use a word, to describe things. I'm not saying that they are good. I'm not saying that they are bad, and I'm definitely saying that you should not worship them, but to observe and understand and educate yourself about the world that we live in, WHRLED world. I think that is a good thing. So that's part of why we're doing this. So, all right, let's see this thing do what it's going to do. Can you see why they might think they have wings? I've witnessed it.
Here are 4 different camera angles from Jerusalem, Israel, at the Rock of the Dome. Think about what this means as to the significance of what these things are if they are doing this type of thing, showing up at this type of highly religious, important location, performing a maneuver.
Can you see why they would think these are angels, anyone, or some type of deities, whether they be fallen or not? But I
personally have witnessed myself this type of behavior of the orbs being able to streak straight up through the sky, straight down into the water, across the sky. And then as well, as you can see, they go up and there's multiples of them up there, just blinking and flashing, sitting around, just like you've seen in some of the other videos, and we'll see in some more of these videos. What is it that does this? Plasma burst in rapid accelerations.
I'm in Baptist Hospital with my mother. She's not doing good. She was talking crazy one night, and I just decided I was going to tape her. And that's when I noticed when I'm taping, I can see all these white orbs floating around, and it's constant. I know it has to be angels here looking out for her. I hope they help her pass easy. There's no special effects. My camera lens is clean. I'm taping it on a Samsung Galaxy S3 phone. The room is dark. The blinds are closed. The only light is from my phone. You believe in God and angels. It should be a sign.
Small orbs of light have been witnessed leaving, as seen here, people's bodies when they pass. In this clip you can see the orbs, just like in the other clip, flying all around the room. Some people would claim that this is dust, and I've studied many of the videos and some of them were dust. But I don't believe that in this case that this is dust. While this may be hard to watch, it is important to watch in order to understand what we are looking at. When the mouse dies, you will be able to witness an orb leave his body and float to the heavens. Now, to gain a further understanding of what these things are in some sizes, because they come in all sizes and powers, you have to witness some of the actions, like showing up at a tsunami, some of the actions of what they do when they choose to. In this clip, you're going to see this is a Russian rocket that was fired a few years back that was carrying a payload up into orbit. And there will come a point that you'll see an orb come across and take it down. And then I will play it in slow motion with a magnifying glass.
your screen's big enough, you should have been able to see a little something come across.
We're currently here in Squamish, BC, and that's the rock. They call it the Chief. Got all the WMD, weapon of mass detection, set up. I don't have the night vision on yet because it's too light. Breslin's over there checking things out. Marcus and Liz are very comfortable here.
Too comfortable driving theater style.
Yep. And I've got the cameras going. I'm doing some time lapse. Stuff has been seen over the mountain, and we're hoping to see some stuff tonight. We'll be out till quite late. I got it.
Maybe we should set a goal, Shannon, to maybe one day actually go out with a camera set up like that and go to some, heck, we wouldn't have to go very far. We could go to the beach right here, but there's places where, you know, this phenomenon goes on more than others, like in the mountains in New Mexico. Holy smokes, it was every night. But I just thought I'd share that with you real quick.
Yeah, here in the mountains in San Bernardino too, we have.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah, that camera setup is nice though. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, it's in the woods.
Yeah. I'm getting a crazy glow where it is on the night vision.
Okay, I've lost it now, but I got it. Could have been an airplane, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. There's no sound.
Is it gone now? Okay, let's play it back.
And of course, this clip is in infrared, and I've slowed it down so that you can see it as it passes into and between the trees. In 1902 was the first year that a movie was put out showing that some type of UFO or alien type situation. Since then, hundreds of movies have been produced to program us as to what these lights are in the sky. When you sit down and you analyze and look at the lights as we see them here over a period of years like I have, and look at all the evidence, there comes a point to where you realize that these are nothing of the sort when it comes to aliens. They in fact exhibit traits of some type of heroic type entity that shows up at disasters.
Shows up at disasters and very strange places. Kind of like this place.
Now, here's a really interesting one for you. This was September the 11th, 2019. See up at the very top of the screen where the lights, the beams come together. And this is moving at 500%. I've got it set at. There's another one that's over to the right above the tallest building you see there, whatever that is. And it's up there, and it stayed in the same exact spot for the whole entire video, which was 2 hours long. As you can see, there goes a helicopter, and it's flying like a helicopter. And other things move around like they should, but there's a few things in that sky that are not acting like anything that we know of, well, until now. Here's another phenomenon that's associated with the 88 lights. And that is, well, people would say they're birds. And there are some birds probably. And they would say that it's, some people may be crazy enough to say it's bugs. But take a look closely at this video. Here's another angle. Watch what this guy's doing. He's interested. There's stationary
flying in the light
sky with all that light pollution. You got a bunch of stationary
wax
objects.
they shine up there.
Then you got objects.
And maybe it is just bugs. I don't know. It's just pretty weird way they're flying. Say what, Shannon?
So those would be really massive bugs if they were actual bugs.
Yeah.
Out there.
Right.
You can see the size scale, like with your own eyes.
Right. And I don't know what it is. I didn't film it. I'm not there. But when I was putting together this documentary back several years ago, I mean, I did this like 5 years ago, I think, somewhere around there, 5 or 6 years ago. I've been doing this for quite a long time, as you know. Whatever that is, there's a lot of illumination around, but it has some illumination.
And here is a clip from just a few days ago that was filmed with orbs flying over Fukushima.
So flying above Fukushima. What they doing there? The aliens checking out the blown up nuclear plant? Or is it something else? See the one on the right hand side divide into two?
Again, at some point you have to ask yourself, what is it that shows up at all of these type of places, these type of events that have taken place, and shows themselves with capabilities to take down rockets, to do amazing feats of acrobatic ability in all sizes, from pea size to tens of feet across, maybe larger.
See them moving around.
There it goes. One orb. Oh boy. There it goes. That baby, there we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's manifesting small.
Come on down, brother.
Looks like an opening in the veil, which some people would call a portal.
One more dropping. 4. Oh shit, 5. 6.
Uh, 8.0 earthquake just happened, and here we have orbs. Angels? Or is it aliens from a planet 50 zillion miles away? You be the judge.
This is above Whitefish Point, and it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is hovering probably 100 feet above Whitefish Point, and then the second one is probably 100 feet above it. Oh, and then the bottom one just went out. And I swear to God, it came towards me and looked like, yeah, it's moving towards us. Like real fast moving towards us. And there's no sound. You can't hear anything. And the light goes out once in a while and comes closer. It's coming like real fast. Getting closer to us. And now it's stopped. It's hovering. Halfway between us and the point. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. No, it's still there. I'm videotaping it. Yeah, I got that on video. This thing is crazy. And you can see over to the right here, there's a ship. Let's see if we can get the ship. You can see there's a ship out there. And that's moving towards it. Whoa. Yeah, but you should see what it's doing on the video. It's like, it's getting big and then small and disappearing. But watch. Watch, if I move away and then move back to it, watch, you see? Look at, now there's two. Now there's two again. I move back, now there's two. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm not moving the camera at all, but they seem to be moving around the screen quite a bit. Oh, the one faded out. Look at that, I'm not moving the camera at all. And it's like, look how it's screwing with my camera. See how it's getting all big and small and big and small? Look at, watch. I'm trying to stay right on it. Oh, you can see the ship coming into focus. I'll try to focus on the ship. Because look, it's almost touching the damn... Oh, Jesus. It's got to be right above the ship. It's like hovering above the deck. Yeah, but they have to be able to, that's got to be so bright on that ship. Yeah, somebody's got to be able to see that on that ship. It's just a flare. I don't know. Yeah, well, there was three when I first looked at it. And it pulses like it gets brighter and then dimmer, and now it's getting dimmer and dimmer. Almost gone. Now there's two. Yeah, see, now the bottom one's gone.
The top one comes in and the bottom one disappears.
Yeah,
That's how it
done that a couple times now.
one comes up.
My hands are starting to freeze though.
Next clip, you're going to see rather amazing. It happened in Iran in 2019. Matter of fact, and the Iranian army is at the border, and they get approached something in the sky. They don't know what it is. So it's an orb, and they try to shoot it down, and of course they have no effect on it, and it just flies backwards and forth and just plays with them. Ask yourself what could do that. So then what is it that has been and is being seen around the world? What is it that shows up at volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, religious locations, and blows rockets from the sky? Takes on many sizes and intensities that leave the bodies of dying humans and animals alike, from the size of a pea to the size of a car, all ablaze like fire and plasma. I have witnessed these beings with my own eyes nearing 100 times over a period of about 8 years now in multiple locations. I have calculated carefully the following conclusions. I have determined that they are not man-made, and they are not some movie-gained fantasy of alien origin. They have been here since the beginning of time. They are made up of 100% light, plasma, fire, electricity, which are all different words for the same thing. I believe they are spirits of many levels of life, from the smallest light of the dying mouse to the big bright ones in the sky, that I believe are God's angels He made in the beginning. With such a bold claim, let us see what the Bible has to say about angels. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in the earth, visible or invisible, whether they be thrones, or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light, as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a...
Sorry, that one got chopped off by accident. You look that one up.
And the bush was consumed not.
The bush, the burning bush. I've seen these up close, and they could be mistaken for anything burning.
And like a spirit questioning me, the angel said, This is the place of the end of heaven and earth. It is the prison for the stars of heaven and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire, these are the ones which transgressed the command of the Lord from the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their proper times. And he was so angry with them, and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sin, in the year of mystery.
Well, there you have it. Oh, that's too close. I'm too ugly. Oh, let's stop the storm down here. So there you have the documentary. And look, I know there's a lot of opinions and a lot of really truly all I care about, and I'm sure all I'm getting distractions over here, which I'm fixing to put a stop to it. All we're looking for is the truth. If I say something that ends up being not the truth, I would happily change to the truth, because that's all I seek. I want to know the truth. And Shannon, I'm sure, is exactly the same. So that was like, well, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago when I did that documentary. And yeah, I mean, I'm still amazed by it, and it's one of my better pieces of work, I think, and being able to put it together like that. Once I realized and I had the revelation as to these balls of light, the host of the heavens, are not just talking about the stars, and you know, there's so much evidence pointing to that there's spirits and deities and angels and who knows which one's what exactly. I ain't got it all figured out, but we're trying. And we wanted to show you that documentary because it's got some really powerful stuff in it, you know. But unless you have anything you want to chat about for a minute, Shannon, we'll do call-ins.
No, but I would like to say, considering that was quite some time ago, it's definitely a documentary piece that has stood the test of time. And watching it over again, I already had floods of emotion in different areas where it just really brought home a lot of things that we're talking about and that people have mentioned in their stories with orbs and things that they've seen and angelic presence. And it just, you know, it was fascinating to kind of look back and go, oh, wait, look at the cube shapes. And just, you know, I thought that was a really good thing to kind of rewatch. Because, you know,
it's
someone who's
a lot of people. Just think about how many people have not seen that footage and then putting it together with scripture as to what it says and hints at what angels look like and what they are. And there's plenty of language there to tell you, if you're paying real close attention, what these things are we're seeing. Now, that don't mean that they're all on good missions, because angels are put on bad missions sometimes. But and it don't mean that they're all the good angels. I mean, we don't know. We're trying to learn, and we hope y'all guys understand that. And this is how we learn, and listen to y'all guys too, and then keep watching. And that's what we're supposed to do. Is we're supposed to watch and observe and see if we can't figure it out. And there's nothing wrong with all of us collaborating, I don't think. You feel like taking a little call if we happen to have somebody out there?
I think that's a great idea. I think we've got time for at least one caller today.
Okay.
Before we
sounds good to me. Probably want to. I'm scratching my head. Sorry, guys. Get it every now and then. Both of us over here.
I'm wearing a hat, guys. I'm wearing a hat.
Right. I'm wearing a hat too. A top hat. A top knot. Well, guys, we'll go ahead and take it. Since we're here towards the end of the show and we're already over by 30 minutes, which is fine. Ain't over anything really. But you can call that number and it's going to ask you for a PIN, and you have to enter that PIN number. Of course, the phone number is showing on the screen there. It's 512-647-1431. And then it'll ask you for the PIN that will drop you into my room here. Now, you're calling in, so we're not going to be able to see your face. It's just like calling a radio station. And you can tell us your name is whatever you want to say your name is. You can give us a nickname, or you can tell us your real name. In general, first name is fine, unless you're proud like me and I shout it all out, Daniel Alexander Cannon. But yeah, feel free. Anybody that's out there, give us a call. And if nobody don't call, then we're going to be embarrassed and go cry.
I'm not going to.
Nah. I got a
But
button right here. Ends the
sad
show.
that I didn't get to hear somebody talk about their stuff today because I was looking forward to that.
We'll look at a few comments here while we're kind of hanging out. Tom said, when God made us in his image, Daniel takes the cake. Yeah, you got that right.
Is it the white beard? Is that what they're...
Oh, if I could show you, well, I'll show you a little bit, but it's really long. It's past my belt about 6 inches. So and the reason is I've mentioned before, but I know most people haven't heard it. The reason is because there's power in your hair. Every hair on your head is counted, and also every hair on your head is connected to a nerve that's connected to your brain. You say, no, that ain't true. Well, pull on one. Well, that's just the hair. No, if it was meant to be not connected to your brain, for each hair to count, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be connected to a nerve. And what it does is it allows you to connect better with the environment of the world that we live in. The hair allows you to connect. And if it also provides you protection, because if you're who hasn't heard that made my hair stand up when they get scared? Now, why would fear have anything to do with hair? Well, they say it's just adrenaline running through your body and it makes your hair stand up. That just happens. Is it any deeper? Is there any possibility it could be a little deeper than that? Well, I can tell you this. It is. They've done studies on it. They did a study back in the early 1900s where they had Indian braves that they were putting into the U.S. military. And what they would do is they would half of the Indian braves and shave their head like a normal recruit. Just like all kings throughout time, every time they conquered a nation, they shaved all the heads of the men. Why? Well, they shaved half of the Indians, American Indians' heads, the braves, and they left the other ones. They allowed them to keep their hair, and then they ran them against each other in drills to see who was better. And you can look up this study, and it's out there, and it showed that hopefully everything's still working. We have a caller. If I didn't lose everything, okay, we're still here. But it showed that the Indian braves were able to know what was going on, be more aware of the world around them because of their hair length. It was proven that was the case. But I hate to give you the bad news that the U.S. Army and other militaries out there, they don't really have your best interest in mind, and they really just want you kind of dumb and go take a bullet. Yeah, that's right. I'm a veteran. I said it. It's the truth. So they don't like really smart people. That's why I got the heck out of there, because they don't want nobody questioning anything. That's for sure. They want you to march over yonder and be the first one to take the first bullet. Okay. Pretty much it. We have a caller. All right. Let's hope this goes well. And I don't have to hit the gong button. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right. Let's bring someone on in the room with us here and see who we have here. Can you hear me?
Brian,
Brian?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, Brian. Yeah, I can hear you good, buddy. Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, cool. Hey, man, thank you for calling in.
All right.
Well, my brother, you have the floor. Can you hear him okay, Shannon?
Yeah, I can hear him. It's a little low, but...
A little bit low? Okay. Well, maybe if you can... You can barely hear me?
Better?
Yeah?
I can barely hear good.
Okay, I can hear you good, though, and we can hear you good.
Okay. That's great.
Well, tell us about your supernatural story. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I want to first thank you I believe just me being on here is supernatural. First off, I was in the comment there, chat, kind of comment. I normally don't comment in the chat. I've been praying for you.
Well, thank you, man.
When I got on the internet about 7 years ago, I don't know when there I come across your channel, but I know it had to do right before or during COVID at the beginning there.
Yeah.
I've always been intimidated and scared because the first time I was on a Lucas chat many years ago, my wife got me on at her job. When I was first diagnosed, trying to figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And I went to click to scroll down because I had went up. Like now, I always use a phone. I don't use a computer. But then there was some pornographic stuff that come up, and I was always thought the internet's the devil, so I never got on. The children were like, Dad, you can learn stuff. There's so much options on the internet, they were telling me. So
yeah,
approximately 7 or 8 years ago, they got me on slowly. When I found you, I felt I was glad because I've been praying for probably a couple of years to find more people like me that believe and try to use Christ as the measure in everything we do,
Yeah.
But anyway, to the supernatural. From birth, I had health problems. 4 years old, it's a weird story, but my family never really knew what happened. And many years later, when I found sobriety, God showed me a little day vision of it. And I still cracked my head. And my grandparents' dog, they had a big property, I was laying at that. He dragged me to the house on my shirt. They barked. Nobody comes. And he panicked because I guess I was going to bleed out. And he grabbed me by the face and jumped through the storm door. The way my grandfather was a fisherman, he built an extra back porch. And just on the outside had a storm door. And it got their attention. And when I came out of my coma, however long, first thing I asked for was the dog. He was laying back there beat half to death. My grandparents literally went broke what little extra he earned as a hangry muffler to save the dog. It's the journey. Anyway, but through life, I am the youngest of 4 boys, a mother, 3 different dads. I'm Caucasian. Mother married a black man when I was 5, so it was kind of black sheep. And so I have a weird experience through life growing up. We used to joke around and said we never knew we was white until we was 31. But still relevant here. But life experience took me to foster care. I got opportunity to go home. Of course, when 15, 15-year-old kids going to say, sure, I miss my family. Biggest mistake. Life led me into gangs, drugs, you name it, that whole lifestyle. And I got the opportunity to get adjudicated as a young kid. All I cared about was I got over to the big guys and became an adult at 17 years old for cigarettes. Didn't know I was going to look at 10 to 20 years, which thank God, that's when I get reborn. My life changed. And I tell people to this day, this is more of a testimony, but still, I believe our life is supernatural when we come to it, because for some of us hardheads, it takes that supernatural experience, especially when it comes to death, because the enemy, I think sometimes he knows our future to a degree or something, because he's tried to kill me so many times with hell. I mean, he's still trying to take me out. When God stands in, or the guardian angel, whoever it is, I hear people all the time misquote scripture, and that's why I can't even go and get fellowship with the churches, because they're so far off in different ways, depending on different denominations, etc. Anyway,
I totally understand.
I'm a believer in the word, but I don't do none of this worldly stuff as far as what we know here in America. I've tried every denomination. None of them, they either do pagan stuff or don't teach the word correctly. There's something in everything.
Well, luckily, we're in church right now.
Right. Hey, I would totally agree, brother. I would totally agree. I would totally agree with that. When two or more of us agree, specifically more, agree on something, prayer together, that's when it shall be answered.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't answer, and a lot of people think that he might not hear, or we need to keep praying about the same thing.
What if someone was praying for something that? What if someone was praying for something that was bad for them?
Exactly. That's why unanswered prayers. There's an old country song used to it said, "Thank God for unanswered prayers." Sometimes that's a bigger blessing than answering it.
I remember some of my first prayers were praying for things I wanted, or not to get a whipping, or some,
or a beating. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
Yeah, I did indeed.
I think I was 31. I broke my back. Just a little quick to end my little testimony. I mean, I could go on. I'm a communicator when I feel comfortable, and I'm the quietest guy in the room when I don't. Especially when I don't know people. But it's that discernment. Somebody, I forget the name now in the chat there, was speaking on that. But
yeah. Well, you're my brother, and I'm your brother. You're in a good place.
But at 31, I broke my back. I had already been full time. I went to work, got away from all that. I think the supernatural, whoever it is that guards me and leads me, I don't know. I know it has to be from God, because I always end up on a better path, or I'm not gonna say healed, because I still deal with attacks physically. I don't believe that we're all intended to be healed. For a long time, I thought God hated me, and this past year and a half has been a test. Let me brief my testimony here. 31, I broke my back. Took a few years. It got to the point picking up a piece of paper when the kid was little then. Anything, and I'd pop out, and then my spinal fluid was small on one side, so I had to be fused. And that was an experience. But then a couple of years, then it's researched, and I would testify.
If you hadn't have broke your back, broke your back, Brian, would you be calling in right now, you think?
I don't know, to be honest, Brother Daniel. I don't know. Because that's been passed. How you got that left or right turn. Mm-hmm. At that time, I believe I was hearing incorrectly, but I would have been that love for the money, and the way the churches teach you it's okay to have all these riches, and that's what God intends, your heart desires. And I think people totally mistake his intentions, and that's that denomination and stuff. But
yeah, that's why I don't go to church, except for here.
Yeah, other believers, but in the town I'm back in my hometown, and when you're from here, and a couple funerals of parents that I got to know even better by passing in the hospital, and doing testing and operations. And I'm a prime example of what our medical people could do anything crazy for. And listen, if you don't get an answer, don't move forward with it, because I always, my wife, she's a nurse, and my wife would always encourage me. And 1 out of 7 operations was good. I just had another back operation a year ago. I'm going to skip all the other stuff because there's a lot of years of over 15 years, I believe.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a time when we could do full on. We could do full on testimonies sometimes where we'd, where we could really get into things, because I can tell we've got a lot of things in common. That's for sure. Just listening to you talking, and the fact that
I think that's why I was drawn to you, to be honest. Let me finish real quick. I'll shorten it down because I'm good at long stories.
Me too.
After a year, March 15th of here, I went to have another one. They're going to replace a couple of bench screws and realign me. I got spine diseases. And realigned me right above the occlusion. They took a 2.5-hour surgery, cared about money and that experience that they probably hadn't had. They hit a major nerve, taking out all of my previous fusion that was supposed to be there for life, the way they did that surgery at that time. And my toes. As soon as I wake up and get to my wife, I tell her, first off, that they cut my toe off. She shows me my toe. I asked her, she showed me. I asked her if the doctor was in there. She said, no. I said, well, I woke up and they said they killed me on fentanyl, brought me back, and I'm ready to go home. Anyway,
Wow.
the whole thing of misery this past year, the devil took me to a place of questioning my belief of everything I believed since I was a young kid.
He can do that.
Going backwards, but where I'm at today,
I think that's his job.
The past month, I've been fasting and praying, and I don't believe you're supposed to tell people when you're fasting. That's a private thing between you and our Messiah, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I have came back to that the devil took me to this place of hatred this past year. I mean, I thought I'd been to dark places, but supernaturally, it's weird how that works, but I don't like to claim God spoke to me. I don't like to talk about this vision or that vision, how people blast it. I know maybe there's a time and place kind of like I feel led today, even talking to chat and to call. It was weird. It was calling in. I wanted to battle it, but I felt led to share, and I know I'm not doing a good job at it. I'm not really good at socializing, I guess you could say, with a bunch of people.
I think you're doing great.
He took me to a place to show me where I was, where I was at, and why I was questioning. And I know it's all demonic. You know, some people don't realize your kids to be in there turning on the games. I told my wife a couple of months that there was a demon in here, and she didn't believe me. She thinks it's a picture falls, it was from our vibrations. My wife ain't as in depth with it as I am. So I'm like, no, baby. I keep praying. I get rid of it. It comes back. Well, come to find out that was the demon that had taken me to a place, laying in bed trying to recover. My toes and feet don't work right. It's a long story there. But anyway, that's what the whole combination of my life, the negativity is where the demon taking me for me to have hatred because I've become, well, you know how it works. You go from that fighter to the biggest lover and hugger. You just want to hug people and bless them and lead by example. Well, I had lost that, man. And I never had lost it. I only got a couple of people on my wife's side that believe like I do. And so we all been praying, and supernaturally, anyway, I've seen all this. Somehow, I don't know if it was when I was asleep at night. I don't know if it was during the day. I've lost 48 pounds. I've been fasting so much, I've lost 48 pounds, brother. And I praise God. I praise y'all for showing me and just hugging me and leading me to good people like you. And I pray it continues. And I pray that I can be an inspiration to somebody else. And I just thank you. Ignore the attacks. I read some of them comments sometimes. I had to stop reading them. You know that's from the enemy when they attack your character or any of that. You know that's just attacking the enemy.
Yeah. Those people will, you know, a lot of times people are going through hard times and they have the hatred, like you were talking about, and they're looking for they're looking for a way to try to make themselves feel better. So they're going to try to push that pain off of them onto someone else. And they're just, they get lost in that. And generally the best policy, for me, is I just don't read it and don't really worry about it. Because it's not about me, it's about them and their suffering, and I feel sorry for them.
And on the subject matter of demons, I've personally encountered these things before myself, and going through.
Oh, you're good, Shannon.
Going through back surgery and things myself, which is so weird. I was just talking to Daniel about that earlier today, so I can feel your pain on the whole back situation. But that whole thing was a test in itself of the good and the bad trying to get at me. And my big testimony came out of that. So these things happen in our lives for a reason. They're wake-up calls, and you might have been feeling that hatred and that attack, but the fact that you've been getting delivered from that is part of the testimony to me and showing how amazing God really is and that it exists. God exists.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been through a lot of similar things that you've been through, Ryan, is what she was explaining. And yeah, she's been through it. She was telling me about a lot of it earlier today. I'm not going to get into it here because it might not.
Right.
But yeah, she has, and she's been through the emotional states similar to you too, and I have too in some ways, and just understand that just keep trying to walk in the right direction, and you're going in the right direction.
I'm glad you found us today.
Yeah.
Commented and called in. It was perfect.
Yeah, and thank you, Ryan, for calling in and sharing with us. We do greatly appreciate it.
I don't know if you both started the channel or what, but I thank you all for starting this channel, and really that video was amazing. I've seen a lot of that, not like in person, but on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate just what you're doing. In your way, it's not our job, as they say, they make it into work for money, but our job for Christ, you're doing it, brother. At least that's what I feel. I wouldn't even been led to you in the beginning. I just thank you, and God bless you, Shannon. God bless you, brother Denner. I'll be in the back scene here, and on the days I'm led to communicate, I will. And I would really like to get with you sometime. Me and you personally would get to know each other, as they call it, internet friends.
Right. Well, send me a look under some of my videos, and you'll find a number where you can send me a text. I'm pretty much the only YouTuber that I've ever heard of that allows anyone and everyone to contact me.
Yeah. I would totally agree with that one. Yeah, you're the only one that I look at.
Right. I can't always respond to everybody, but
maybe somebody else can come in.
All right, Ryan.
I had to turn off of the live, to get on here on the call you. So I'm gonna get off with somebody else in the line so they can get in.
Yeah.
God bless you both.
Thank you, buddy.
God bless you too.
Thank you, Ryan. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Well, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love real people. Whatever they want to talk about. You can just tell the dude has been through it and he's real.
And I've been watching.
He's so kind.
Yeah, super kind, which we appreciate here on this channel. Kindness.
Yeah.
Just keep on passing it along, pass it forward. Kindness.
Because you open up the lines like that, you don't know who's going to call. But boy, we've had two great callers. So one in the last video and one today. Guys, we are running at over 2 hours at this point, so we are going to go ahead and end the show now. I love and thank all of you for being here and supporting the show. Hopefully, y'all guys will go ahead and support us, not YouTube, but support us in pushing the little buttons down there, sharing this with some friends, and because that does actually help me and Shannon, and build this channel. So please do that, and then we're going to be back again probably about 2 days from now. I would say you'll see us back again, and we'll do another show, and we're going to get better and better at getting the schedule down. Today I fell asleep and forgot to wake up for a little while, to be honest. But yeah, so thank you guys for coming. Shannon, you got any final words you'd like to say, darling?
I just wanted to say thank you again for our caller, and thank you, Daniel, for starting this channel and allowing a girl like me to be a part of this. And yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm very grateful to you, and I'm grateful to our audience.
You're surely doing a great job. I'm grateful. I'm just as grateful to have you here, because this is a better experience, like this. So it's awesome.
Yay.
So with that being said, guys, we're out of here for now.
Bid you adieu. God bless.
We love you, and we'll be back real soon.